Good afternoon, everybody. Eric Alarid here with Tilson Home. So grateful that you're joining us. And I am joined live this week, as we are every week, with Dawn Dantzler, our Director of Marketing. Say hello, Dawn.
Hey, everybody. How are you doing?
And this week, you get to see that she is, in fact, a real person and really does exist. You don't just hear her voice, but we get to see her this time. So thank you, Dawn, for joining us this week.
Glad to. Moderating might be a little bit slower this time, but we're going to do our best.
Yeah, Dawn is still going to be moderating your questions, guys. So ask any and all questions that you have. Anything that has to do with building on your land, custom homes, finishes, getting it started, the financing side of it. We're here to answer all of those questions for you. We are going to be talking today about a Parker Elevation C that a customer converted into a farmhouse style. Is that right, Dawn?
That is correct.
So ask all your questions. We'll have them over in the chat. We'll be stopping every now and then to answer them. Dawn and I are going to do this live. And again, so grateful to have Dawn. Grateful for you guys for joining us. Yeah, we can play Stump the Exec today if you want to. And that's why we have Director of Marketing. She can come in and swoop in and save the day for us. So as she does every day. But ask us all your questions. We're going to get this thing going. The Parker floor plan, actually one that we've had for many, many years. We built this home as a model in Weatherford, Texas, a number of years ago. Recently overhauled the elevations on it, and that's kind of what took off for this plan, right? So, Dawn, why don't you walk us through where we started out with the Parker, and let's go from there and answer questions as we go.
Absolutely. So we started on this one with the Parker C. The model out in Weatherford is actually D, which is all stone and brick. But this one, they started with the C elevation because they really just liked that front porch area a little bit better. And we're looking to do kind of a farmhouse look on it. And so here are some of the changes that they made to do that. If my computer will cooperate. So here's the original floor plan. So you can see that it has that nice front covered porch. One of the things I really like about this plan is how good of space is used. You've got this huge walk-in closet, not a lot of wasted space with hallways, things like that. I'm always a sucker for a corner pantry, so really like how that kitchen area is laid out, and that it's truly a split plan. So when you're getting this home, the master is completely separate from the secondary bedrooms. Everybody has their own private space.
Yeah, and we actually don't have another plan in this square footage range that comes standard with a walk-in pantry like that. So this is
nice.
Unique in that you can get that. And of course, they reversed it. So if you're looking at our plan on the website and you've gone and looked at this one, they did reverse or mirror image the house to make it work for their land layout.
And so here are some of the changes that this family made. Like I mentioned, they were going for that more farmhouse look, so they went ahead and removed that masonry that you saw on the first page. So removing all of that and then adding in some shutters to all the windows, because on the standard elevation it only comes on this window here. And then did a few things. They took that back covered porch that comes with the plan and extended it all the way across the back, so it goes to the edge of the master suite there. They also did in the Parker, it comes normally with a pass-through wall in this area, and then
like a half wall there.
Yeah, kind of this half wall. But they took that out and really opened up the space. So I'm excited to show you guys how that did. And then really the only other change they made is in this utility room. This would normally be a window. And they changed it up so that it's actually an exterior door. So they have an entry into the house without going through the regular areas.
Yeah, so they actually opted to not have an attached garage, which a lot of our customers do exactly that. You know, it's probably 60-40, 60% end up doing a garage, 40% actually do not. They have enough land, in other words, they're going to do some other means later on, or the layout doesn't work for them, but that's ordinarily where the garage would go. But you would lose, of course, that window where the kitchen sink is, which you don't want to really lose that. Other thing I want to at least touch on this, Dawn, was how this customer came to us. They were referred to us by a Tilson homeowner, I think a coworker, and that person, that coworker, had actually been involved in 2 Tilson homes with us. So this is kind of down in the Edna, Texas area in Jackson County, where we've built actually a large number of homes, which is interesting because it's not a very big place. It's a kind of a small town, not kind of, it's a small town. There's nothing kind of about it. Just north of Victoria, Texas, and but a beautiful little spot. You got Lake Texana near there. It's close to the coast where you can bump out and be at like Port O'Connor, Port Lavaca, and go, inshore saltwater fishing CCA style in like 45 minutes, maybe less. So just a great little community. And but anytime we're referred, of course, that's a huge compliment.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
To have someone build 2 homes with us and then turn around and refer us, that's really, really high praise. So anyway, shout out for that. That's kind of how they came about us, which is always interesting to why they ended up here. Any questions that we want to answer right this second, or we want to?
I am not seeing any questions. Are you seeing any on your side?
Yeah, I got. Let's see. We've got one. We got some folks, just watching. We got Intra V saying, "Hey, Eric." So hello, Phil and Rachel. And then we do have Luann Salinas asking, we're looking into building a home with Tilson. No contract signed yet, but wanted to know if we can have a realtor represent us in the process. So great question, Luann. The way that works is that obviously, we work with with realtors who refer their clients to us. So we absolutely do business that way, and we pay a realtor referral fee to their sponsoring broker. As far as having one represent you in the process, that's not exactly how that works. That can work in a production subdivision situation because you don't own the land, but in this situation, you actually own the property and build on your lot. So there's actually decisions that they can't make on your behalf as a real estate agent because you are in fact the landowner. So it works a little bit differently, but we can actually walk you through that in any of our design centers. I'm pretty familiar with that, with how that works as a licensed real estate agent. But the fact of the matter is, yes, if a realtor has referred you to Tilson, then absolutely we can do that. But and we certainly don't mind having them in and answer all their questions and comments and concerns. But it is a little bit different process. Not a little bit. It's a very different process than building a production home in a subdivision.
Everything's a very different process.
Than when you actually own the land. But all that to say that yes, bring your realtor and we'll talk from there. And I see the customer has commented that the barn and the carport are in the works.
She's got a barn and carport coming. So and thank you for planning to send us some more people. Glad to hear you had a great experience, and we always love that. And then Nate is asking what kind of modifications are typically the most expensive.
Great question, Nate. So what I'd say, I mean that's a big question, but adding living area and porches are typically, any footprint changes are going to be your most expensive because most of our changes really aren't that expensive at all. So really just when you add something that isn't there already, obviously, so slab, frame, roof, those things are going to be more expensive than like a cabinet and a countertop and a plumbing fixture. But so added living area, added covered porch, those kinds of things are going to be most expensive, but it really is relative. I mean, they're not, if you want to have them and and that's where you want to spend your money, that's the place to spend the money because it's certainly very difficult to do later. That you can add porch later, making it look like it was part of the house from the get-go is kind of a challenge. That's actually will separate kind of some of the best remodelers from okay remodelers. The best remodelers in the world are the ones that you can't tell it was a remodel job, right? It looks like it was there from the get-go. Whereas the ones, it's an obvious remodel, not a great job. So living area, tough to do later. So then things like added bathrooms, you kind of want to that's a tough and expensive thing to do later. So I would say the most expensive things to do change up front wise are probably the most expensive things that you would try to do after the fact, say exact same things. So bathrooms, living area, porch. Anything to add to that, Dawn?
No, just that, like you're saying, if it's best to invest your money up front because it's going to cost you more to try to change it later. Anytime we're changing multiple materials, that's where you're going to see the highest cost.
All right. What other question? Courtney Banks has one.
Yeah, I see Courtney asking about building in East Texas, and is it a difficult process when it comes to getting started?
So yes, we build in East Texas. There's a few counties way northeast, Bowie County, a few of those up there that we don't quite get into, like where Texarkana is. I think Paris, Lamar County is about as far as we can reach. But yeah, other than that, all the way to the Louisiana border as you come down, Newton County, Jasper County, St. Augustine County, Sabine County, Orange County, all of those we build in East Texas. So, and then of course everything west of that, obviously. And then, how difficult the process is. Well, it's, I
wouldn't say it's difficult. I would say it's different. So it's going to take a little longer. If you've done a home build before in, an all set up subdivision, keep in mind there's a lot of work that went into making that community ready that you didn't see. Whereas when you're building with us, you're going to see all of that work and be somewhat of an active participant in it, because we need your help to get utilities connected and things like that. So I don't think it's difficult. I would just say it's different, but we are here to hold your hand and walk you through the whole process and make it as easy as possible. That's
really well said. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's difficult. I'd say it's more involved. You as the landowner are involved. Whereas if you bought a house that was already resale, or like Don said, in production, you weren't really involved in that land acquisition piece and land preparation piece. You weren't involved at all.
You never had to think about getting a 911 address.
Right. Yeah. So it's more involved, but that's part of the beauty of it is you have that emotional attachment to that land. And it's a really, really special deal that can't be replicated on a production side. So.
And you get to decide things that you don't get to decide. You get to decide how far it is away from the streets. You get to plan out all that stuff. So it's just different.
All right.
Sean is asking about how long it usually takes to build a new home.
So total time from the time that you decide on the plan and give us the deposit to the time that we hand you the keys and move in is right now running between 8 and 12 months. So we have some that are we had one that we did recently. It was a 7-month total time. And we have some that take over a year. Depends on where it is, depends on how involved the customer is, depends on the number of changes that the customer makes during the process. And in a lot of cases, the ones that take a little longer, your 10, 12, 14-month deals, those are almost always going to be ones that are in a city, a municipality, where and typically your bigger cities, where your larger cities are involved, they just take longer. Because the upfront process is longer, the permitting process, the flood mitigation, evaluations, that kind of stuff, and then the construction process takes a little bit longer as well, because you have to stop more frequently for inspections. Whereas when it's in the county, we're still going to have the third-party inspections done, but we're in control of scheduling them with the third-party inspector, and so we can forecast that. Whereas we can't schedule it for a city inspection until a particular part is done, and then we're at their mercy as to when they get, whenever they're going to show up and get that done. So they tend to sit a little longer in a city. Great question though. But yeah, it's 10 to 12. I think I went and looked at this one. This one was right at 9 months from the time, from zero till the time the house was completely finished. And of course, during that time, no construction loan, no interim financing, no draw schedule, no nothing. So there was about 3 months of like upfront work, getting everything ready to go, and then 6 months of actual construction. So. Yeah. But to answer the question shortly, Sean, is the customer plays a vital role in how long it takes. A lot more so than people initially think. So. Yeah. Amber has a question about the Fredericksburg Elevation B. Is there a way to make it smaller than the original? So the answer is yes. We actually did one of these, if I remember right, San Jacinto that we did. We showed a San Jacinto that we made smaller. Yeah. Typically speaking, it's more cost effective to take a different plan and make it a little larger than it is to take a larger plan and make it smaller economically. So you get a little more bang for your buck when you're doing that. But on the Fredericksburg, there's a few houses that are set up similar. So it's a split floor plan. So your local design center can maybe recommend another plan or two that's maybe close. Depends on how much smaller you want to make it. I think that it's right at 2,600, 2,700 square feet of one story, closer to 3,400 to 3,700 square feet if you do the space above. But if you're trying to go from like 2,700 square feet down to 2,000, that's a big lick. That's going to be tough to make happen. Going from 2,700 maybe down to 2,500 is not a big deal. If you're trying to get down to 2,000, 2,200 square feet from the Fredericksburg, I would go for the recommendation that you start with a different plan and we make it look like, take some features of the Fredericksburg, maybe the island, maybe the master bath, maybe some of those things that you really like, and put them in whatever other plan and make that plan maybe a little larger to look like the Fredericksburg.
Yeah, that makes sense. Luann is asking us about CCA and if the $1,000 upgrade for CCA members is still available. Yes, we are a title sponsor of the CCA Star Tournament, and that is a benefit that we extend to their membership.
Yep, there's a coupon in one of their publications that you get. If you're a CCA member, you get the publication. There's a little coupon in there. You do have to bring that coupon and present that coupon.
And present your current membership card.
Oh, right. Yes. You have to actually be a valid current member.
You have to actually be a member, but yes.
Yes. But yeah, great question. We are very proud to support the CCA and the Star Tournament specifically. So
yes.
I just kicked off.
Great scholarship fund.
Just kicked off Memorial Day, so it's rocking and rolling right now. There's been 2 tagged redfish turned in, so there's 2 scholarships and new boats there for some kiddos. So
very exciting.
It's a really awesome deal.
And they've already had one person who caught one that didn't actually hadn't signed up. So if you're fishing out there, register.
It's like $25. Yeah, sign up for your CCA membership, your Star Tournament, and you could win a boat and a truck or a scholarship. So,
or you'd be really heartsick when you catch the tagged fish and
it's
don't
going
win
to
a
crush
boat.
you. It's going to crush you.
Oh, it's going to hurt. Okay, so Nate is asking about our framing. Is it 2x4s or 2x6s, and what is the spacing?
Nate, the answer is yes. So, we use 2x4 studs on 16-inch centers on all of our exterior and interior wall framing, unless we need to do otherwise. So there's some cases where we do, depending on the plate height, depending on span or load that it's carrying, sometimes those are 2x6 walls. And then our attic framing are minimum 2x6s on your joists and rafters, and those are going to be on 19.2-inch centers currently. And sometimes that question's asked, because we are using 2x4s, but we're wrapping the whole house with 7/16 OSB, half-inch OSB for structural sheathing, which is required in windstorm. We do it everywhere, which really makes it easily as strong or stronger than a 2x6 wall. A lot of people are asking about 2x6 walls because they maybe want to do thicker framing. Thicker insulation. I'm sorry, but we can now get an R15 bat in a 2x4 wall, so you're not gaining too much. And insulation. More and more insulation is good, but there is a marginal utility there where you get a certain amount of thickness and it doesn't do you a lot more good unless you're in an extremely cold environment, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, something like that. We're battling. Yeah, we're battling here in Southeast Texas for the most part, or even North Texas, is those 9-10 months out of the year where we're running our AC units. How do I keep that cold air that I'm paying to cool in? And that's done with tightness of a home. So we definitely want to do spend the money to make the home tighter as opposed to 2x4. There's 2x4 framing on 16-inch centers with a full OSB wrap is, if it's good enough for Texas Department of Insurance and windstorm certification, it's going to be good enough for wherever you're building. It's solid. Great question. Thanks, Nate.
Stephen had a similar question, kind of lengthy, asking, if we consider doing 2x6s with advanced framing for a build, and he's talking about Climate Zone 2, Hays County. Mm-hmm.
Yep. I'm actually sitting in Hays County as we speak, Stephen. Thanks for that. I'm at our San Marcos office right this second. So, yeah, it's 2x4 traditionally, 16-inch on center. Yep. So, and thank you for watching the other ones, by the way.
Absolutely.
We're grateful for that.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah, Don puts a lot of work into these, so thank you for doing that. And Climate Zone 2, right? So he's done his homework, and we can spec it out for 2x6. Actually, the design centers have pricing to make the walls 2x6. It's really easy to do. It's actually not even all that expensive. Advanced framing. Maybe some clarification on what you mean. What that means to me when I hear someone say advanced framing methods is maybe 2x6s spaced further apart. So if we're doing 2x4s on 16-inch centers, would we consider going to 2x6s on maybe 24-inch centers? And the answer is yes. We would consider that. We actually have considered that. Anytime the new energy codes come out, we try to look at all the different ways we can skin that cat in the most cost-effective way possible, while still hitting the numbers.
Dave reads that book cover to cover.
Yeah, Dave. That's right. If you've watched any of Dave's videos, he reads code book for fun, like you and I would read like Dan Brown books. That's how he reads the code book. So we would consider doing that as long as we can meet our energy ratings. We would absolutely consider doing that. So you'd get more insulation. But yeah, you're giving up 2 inches all the way around your house, of course. So it's something to consider. We'd want to find out what rooms are mission critical that you have certain dimensions, right? Like if you've got grandma's hope chest that has to go on this wall, if we're going from 2 by 4 to 2 by 6, we want to just be sure. I know it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it can be the difference between a piece of furniture fitting and not fitting. So it's something to consider. But yeah, there's an option. Go ahead.
Sorry. He was also asking about spray foam in Climate Zone 2, and if it is open cell or closed cell, and do we have an idea of a ballpark price for that upgrade on a Parker?
Okay, so it is open cell. We highly, highly recommend open cell as opposed to closed cell because of moisture. We want the house to be, the moisture's got to be able to get out of that. The closed cell is a great solution for, let's say something like a big warehouse space. You go into a restaurant that's in like a storefront, you got a big warehouse space, or a gym that's got an open warehouse space, a commercial type of deal where you can see the insulation. Maybe it's painted black or red or something to match the rest of the building. That's a place where it's, where it can get airflow up to it. That's the only situation that I'd recommend using closed cell spray foam. Otherwise, I'm going to always recommend open cell spray foam insulation. And then as far as the, what it goes to go to foam, I mean, you're looking about $2 a foot thereabouts of living area. Get you pretty close on, for a house, $1.88 to $2 a square foot of living area. So, somewhere $3,500 to $4,000 in a house like the Parker. Now, again, just keep in mind that part of that price is part of it's go to spray foam, obviously, instead of the bats. But a large part of that is the HVAC system that we're doing. You're getting a dehumidifier, you're getting a different kind of fresh air intake, you're getting a different type of HVAC system. So that's all figured into the total number. So it's not just the insulation that's changing. You're changing really the whole HVAC package, doing away with ridge vents, doing away with the pre-drilled ventilated soffit venting, and doing a different type of plumbing vents, things like that. So and there's some advanced framing methods that have to go into that. So great question, Stephen. Thank you.
See, Mary is asking if there's a different process for veterans to use their VA benefits.
So no, not really. It is a process with VA. I'll tell you, it's a longer process with the VA. But that is something to which veterans are entitled. And it is truly the only type of loan that is an entitlement, technically speaking. So, and by God, they are entitled to it. So we work with VA type of loans all the time. The two lenders that we prefer to use will do VA loans. We actually recommend that you take a good long look at Texas Vet. So the Texas Veterans Land Board actually has a home mortgage program that if you've been a resident of the state of Texas for 3 years, you qualify, and it offers you pretty much all the same benefits, same discounts that you would get with any other of your VA benefits that you qualify for. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot less red tape and fees associated with it compared to VA, because VA, you do have a funding fee. Their appraisals are a little bit wonky. They can get a little wild on you.
Yeah.
And so we highly recommend having a good long conversation about trying out the Texas Vet route before you commit to going VA. But the answer is yes, we do VA. Not every.
Definitely talk to your lender and figure out which program is right for you. And then Casey, whose house we're talking about, kind of had a comment back when someone was asking if our process was difficult. She's saying her experience is very easy. She would definitely build again with us. And then I can see Karen, who I know is under construction right now, saying, more involved. It's a great way to explain it, especially if you're
thanks, Karen.
used to the suburbs. That's a good explanation. do we want to jump back in to talking about the actual house?
Let's jump in. You guys keep asking your questions.
Keep asking your questions. We'll get to them, but I want to make sure
them.
everybody gets to see this great house.
Yeah.
Let me pop that back up.
Man, Dawn, they got lots of questions for you. This is great.
They do. They've been saving them up for me. I answer your questions all week. You didn't have to save them. All righty. So let's see. So we showed the floor plan. If my computer wants to cooperate, it'll let me move forward.
Yeah. So it looks like they beautiful. Did away with the brick, which I think is awesome.
So yeah, this is the front elevation with all of that brick gone. I really love the colors that they've picked, which you can see. You've got the extra shutters in here, and that beautiful front porch, and just really, it's got that great farmhouse style going. So this is what it looks like from the side. So you can see here's their that door that they put in, so they can get to their carport and barn that's coming soon. So that's great. And then on the rear elevation, you can see where they extended that back porch all the way across.
Beautiful.
So they've got a lot of nice outdoor living space there.
There's a real clean look on the back of that house. Really
it is beautiful. So this is their family room. So you can see those. One of the benefits of the Parker is those really large windows, so they can definitely enjoy the view outside. And you see over even on the dining room, you can see that window here. But there's just a lot of glass on the back of this house that really lets you enjoy your views. It's one of the features I really like. And you can see we talked about that wall, how it's nice and open there with the arch all the way across.
Yeah, that turned out really sharp.
And this shows you a little bit more about what we're talking about with that, half wall that you've got in the model, where you've got the half wall and then kind of the open space. And what they did in their home is actually just opened up the whole wall.
Man, I'll have to say their colors are much better than our colors are in the model.
I love their colors. It's a white and a really nice dark gray, and just works so well. And I love these floors too. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Casey, you did a great job picking out colors.
Yes, Casey, I'm jealous. On model redone.
You can see that dining area, and also a little peek at their 2-level island that they have going on. So they've got the nice raised serving bar, and then your workspace down here. Just very nice. And again, all of those windows just really bringing in the light and letting you enjoy the land.
Very nice.
There's the kitchen, this corner pantry that we were talking about. I always love that, but I really love the amount of cabinet space that you get in this home. You usually don't see that in a home this size. You've got 2 full walls of cabinets. That is just awesome. Just great use of space.
Well, yeah, and then the island itself, the island not having the sink in it, like it'll blow your mind how much countertop you gain in the house with having an island that size that doesn't have the sink. Because what also comes along with having a sink is the dishwasher. So most islands that have a sink in it have a dishwasher in it too. So this one has
no cabinets underneath.
Yeah, so it's just like tons of cabinets in that island. It's really, really nice.
Great use. Here is their master bath, which in this one you get the separate freestanding shower and a soaker tub, and then you've got the nice double vanities with the actual seating area in between. So you're nice and separate, and you got a place to sit down and get ready in the morning.
Place for me to comb my hair. That's nice.
You need all that room.
Both of them. Yep. You got the semi-frameless shower there as well, which lets all that light pour through.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's really sharp. And the little granite.
We get a lot of questions about the windows over the tubs. Most of our customers don't have neighbors, so we don't really need to worry about it.
Yeah, most of our customers are a solid 200 feet or better from their nearest neighbor, so they're not real worried about some of it. And a lot of times, they will put maybe sometime when they get moved in and get settled and decide what kind of curtains and things like that they want. They may put one there, and then I've never been in one on the warranty side or some otherwise. They have put curtains over there, and then the curtains are wide open, so just to let the light in.
Then if you're worried about it, we can also obscure the glass.
Yep.
Really easy to do. And then I just wanted to share real quick some of my favorite little features of the Parker. I really like the way the foyer is set up, and they picked out one of my favorite doors. You've got the nice door with the actual speakeasy opening in it. It's just very beautiful. But it comes with this wonderful, little nook area to put artwork. It's got, comes with a granite shelf within it. And like I said, look at this nice corner pantry. Like you can't beat that amount of storage.
No, it's nice. And plenty of food storage because you're living out in the country. You don't have, maybe the store's not super, super close. So that's really handy. I do like, and it won't be lost on folks that the door is 42 inches wide that they've chosen to go with. So it's a full 3.5 foot wide front door, which is it. Not only does it give it a nice big presence when you're walking up to the house, moving sofas and love seats in, like you haven't lived until you move furniture into a 3.5 foot wide door. Like that's fantastic.
Yes, that's awesome.
All right. So we have more questions, Dawn.
Pretty much the Parker. So let's see what other questions we have, because I see lots of them. So let me catch up.
Adriana was where we left off. Adriana Bowman.
Oh yeah. Questions about VA. So they're using a VA loan, and she knows the process is completely different. Wondering if utilities like a well and all that is done by Tilson, or if it is completely separate.
Either way. So it can be included in the contract amount if the loan will support it, or it can be handled outside by the homeowner. It's whatever y'all want to do, Adriana. It's if you're getting the base prices off of our website, those prices are not going to include a water well and a septic system because not every single customer needs those things. And plus, water well pricing can vary quite a bit. Septic varies some, but water well varies greatly from place to place, depending on depth and what type of material they're drilling through. So, well, that is something we can absolutely help you with at any design center.
And we can help you get contract for it as well as putting in a loan if there's room in the loan. But we can help you get those services as well.
Yep.
Speaking of wells, Rocky is saying that his well is done and will we connect it to the house, and was also asking about septic.
All right, Rocky. So great question. And every one of our base price of our homes includes 50 feet of on-site water and electrical lines. So 50 feet of it is included. I don't know how far your water well is from where the water's going to be stubbed out of the home, but if it's within 50 feet, it's taken care of with us. And if not, we basically just have a price per lineal foot, depending on where you're building, to trench it and run the PVC piping for us to handle that for you. And it's minimal. I mean, it's not a lot of money particularly this time of year, not to dig a ditch. It's a good deal. Let us handle it because that is
absolutely. Crystal.
I answered the question on the septic. Same thing going back. We can include the septic in the price, and so yeah, we can include it or you can have it done yourself. It's up to you.
Either way. And Crystal signed a contract with us in May and just got her pre-appraisal back. She's currently at 88% with 12% equity. She's wondering if that's good or bad. Sounds pretty good to me.
It's good. Yeah. I mean, it's great. Yeah. So in essence, Christelle, it's like you're walking in with a 12% down payment, which means you wouldn't need a down payment with us. So yeah, you have 12% equity, which means it's an 88% loan to value. So you're only borrowing 88% of what they have appraised the house to be, what they deem it's worth. So that's a good investment from a mortgage standpoint. It's a low risk because you would be standing, if something happened, you would stand to lose that 12% equity. It's how they look at that. So you're less likely to walk away with a 12% equity position than say like FHA on a resale home, not on a Tilson home, but on a resale home, you can walk in and get an FHA loan that's 96.5% LTV or 3.5% equity. So to me, that is high risk. I mean, I'd much rather loan to somebody who has 12% into the deal than somebody who has 3.5% into the deal. So no, that's all Tilson requires is 10%. You have 12. So if those numbers are the numbers, you're good to go.
Yeah, it's always good to own something.
Yeah.
So Tiffany is thanking us for the videos. Thank you for watching. Yeah. She is hoping to build in about 2 years and is wondering when she can start the design process.
Never too soon. You can start. We don't charge for the design services. So we do obviously recommend making an appointment because you want to have time carved out to do that. So reach out to either one of our online sales consultants or the local design center. We'll get appointments set up for you. But there's no reason you can't start doing the design. I mean, the pricing is going to be different, you know. I mean, obviously prices are going to be very different in the next 2 years, but the design can be the design now. I'd start working on that, particularly if you have a budget in mind. Start working yourself around that.
Yeah. Well, and when you also come in, we can also kind of take a look at, what you've got happening with your land and give you, maybe some homework of what you need to be doing in the next 2 years to get that property ready, so that when you are ready, we can go much more quickly.
Well, that's great point, Dawn. And actually, I'd ask the question back to you, Tiffany, is, you say looking to build in about 2 years. Okay. Does that mean you want to be in the homes celebrating some type of an event in 2 years? Do you want to start construction in 2 years, or do you want to start the design process in 2 years? So, because I always tell people, like, pick a date you want to be in this new home, count back 10 to 12 months. That's when you need to start, like, the deposit process. Like, you need to enter into a contract at that time.
Right.
Which means you may want to start designing prior to that, or at least, get us involved, get a survey or a deed restrictions, anything like that. Get that to us. We'll start looking at that right now. Because it's like we've said, I would budget 10 to 12 months of actual, due diligence, design, color selection, engineering, permitting, and then construction. So that takes a year right there. So you may only be a year out. So just check when you want to be in there and count back.
Absolutely. And then Jennifer is asking, I pulled it back up. She's asking what type of floor they use in the family room and kitchen. This is a luxury vinyl plank floor that's in there, and it is a color called Early Morning Haze. So,
that's nice.
Very nice selection.
I just wonder who has to sit in the dark corner room somewhere and name every paint color that's in the fan and every floor color.
I'd always joke around with people that in my next life I'm going to name nail polishes and paint colors. And
who comes up with like morning dew hazy? Yeah, these are. I always wonder about those folks, but somebody does that. It's somebody's job to sit there and name all these things. Interesting.
Yeah, it's a fun job.
Yeah, luxury vinyl plank's a great product, by the way. We have it in many of our design centers because of the way that it wears. They're high traffic areas. I mean, bulletproof's probably an extreme word to use, but it's tough. Like, you can imagine in 90 years, we've had every type of floor covering on the floor of our models and design centers there are. I'm a huge fan of the luxury vinyl plank. It's stout.
It's also nice because if you do something, I think in one of our models, they dragged the fridge or stove or something across it and scratched it. You can just replace the one plank. You don't have to, it's very easy to do. So great, durable product.
Great point.
Big fan. Mary thanks us for asking her question. For answering her question about VA. She's not originally a Texas resident, so good information. And then she's asking about bonus rooms, and are they only designed to be added as a second story to our single story floor plans, or can we add a bonus room on that same first floor?
So it can be done. It's not quite as cost effective, Mary, because on a bonus room that's designed to go on the upstairs, we've already got the design kind of already done. So we've made accommodations for the staircase, all that kind of good stuff. And the roof and the slab is already kind of there. So otherwise, you can add a room anywhere you want to, and anywhere, your land will accommodate right within the building lines. But it is going to be a little bit more expensive to add it on a first floor than it is to add it on a second floor. I don't know whoever came up with the word bonus room. I don't like them because bonus makes it sound like it's free, like it costs nothing. Even though,
free gift with purchase.
Right, even though it still needs to have air conditioning and floor coverings and paint and sheetrock and texture and baseboard and outlets and ceiling fans and everything that every other room in the house needs. So,
but see, it doesn't need to have concrete and siding and roof and
I'm gonna put a roof on mine. Mine's gonna have a roof. I'm not gonna have a convertible
extra
house.
Roof. That roof's already there. Sorry, to be fair. But.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, we can add space on the same floor.
Be glad to.
Toby and Rita are asking if we can pre-plumb for a soft water system.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, we call it rough in for water softener, but yeah, we absolutely can rough in. Typically, it's done in the garage or utility room, and it's got to have basically a water loop and a drain and an outlet there. It is a home run, which means it's on a separate. So the idea of a water softener is the water comes into the house, it goes to the water softener first before it goes into the water heater and then the rest. So that if you have hard water, let's say that it goes to the usually big salt bag tablets you buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or McCoy's or a big box store. And we prefer McCoy's if you're going to go buy it.
Where we get all our stuff.
It is. So anyway, and so it softens the water before, so you don't have the calcium deposits. That's going to depend on the kind of water you have. What it also includes, though, is that you do want your hose bib, so your outside water faucets, water spigots, to be on hard water. You don't want those on soft water. So our pricing includes all of your exterior hose bibs being on hard water, because you don't want to water your lawn or water your plants with salt water, because it will kill them faster than I can kill them myself, which is pretty quick. So anyway, yeah, the pricing when we rough in for a water softener, it's done and done. Like, it's good to go. It's got power there for it. It's got a drain, because you have to have a drain for it. And it's the outside water spigots are on a home run. They're on their own hard water.
And we do it a lot. I see it in a lot of plans. Chelsea is asking about credit scores in order to get approved.
Yep. They're changing, Chelsea, to answer your question. So historically they were 620 and then they moved kind of up to 640. We've seen some programs that are now going as high as 680. I think there still are some 640 programs out there. Most of them have moved closer to the 680 mark. I think in one article already, even FHA would move up to 680.
Yeah, I was going to say FHA has gone way up because of what you were talking about before. That you only own 3% of the home, so it's very risky for them. So they're raising the credit score to counteract that.
I'd say if you can get 680 or above, you're going to be in good shape. So I'll always shoot for higher, but 680 will be good. 640, there still probably are some programs there. You may pay a little bit higher interest rate, but rates are so low right now that, I mean, it's hard to say that that's even punishment necessarily. Like, you may pay 4.125 instead of 3.99. I don't know. I mean, it's still crazy low.
I think it's crazy low right now.
Yeah. Okay.
Tiffany says she is looking to start construction in 2 years. So.
Okay. So then you need to start the process in a year and 4 months. So,
at the latest.
Yeah.
Let's see. Crystal, she thanks us for asking her question. She feels a lot better, and her stakeout is Friday, so that's awesome. Share pictures. We'll share them with everybody.
Yeah, share pictures. Drink lots of water. It's going to be hot.
Yes. It's going to be hot. You're going to have a nice to-do list, so be ready. It's going to be great. That'll be so much fun. Sean is asking us, if you pay the deposit, does it freeze the cost? So if it goes up in 2 years, you pay the amount that the home cost at the time you made the deposit. And then, yes, we do have inside photos of the built Fredericksburg and Harrisburg. They are on the website. If you go to that plan page. I answered the easy question. Your turn, Eric.
All right. Oh, no, the other one's very easy too. So thank you, Sean, for asking that. That's a great question. So does it freeze the price? And so the short answer is no, ma'am, it does not. And that is because costs change. So we wish, I wish that our lumber supplier would let me lock in pricing for the next 2 years, but we can't. It's a commodity. There's futures. It's traded on the commodities market. Lumber fluctuates, and that goes for many of the raw materials that we use to build a home. So, and the fact of the matter is, over the next 2 years, they're going to go up, just like they have for the last 102 years. So, what it does do is it locks the price in for a time period. Typically, if we can start that house within about 4 to 6 months of when you give us that deposit, that's the price. No matter what happens during the start process or the construction process, you are locked in. But unfortunately, we can't extend that out much past about 4, maybe 6 months sometimes. But I mean, most of our houses are started by then anyway, so it's not an issue. But that's a great question to ask. It's a great question to ask if you're looking at custom builders, because a lot of them do have cost overruns built into their contract. So even if you do sign on the dotted line for a certain fixed price, if they have a cost overrun clause in their contract, what that's saying is that, hey, if we go to order the lumber and lumber has gone up 12%, which, by the way, it did June 1st, that means that we can come back to you and charge you that additional 12%. The cost overrun will usually be up to a certain amount, 15%. I've seen them as high as 20% cost overrun.
Wow, that's scary.
If they quoted you, $10,000, let's say, to frame the house, and their costs go up 20%, they can come back and say, okay, you owe us another $2,000, and we're not proceeding until you pay it. So great question to ask. But yeah, I wish we could lock them in for that long, but unfortunately, we just can't. The costs go up too frequently, and labor as well. I mean, labor costs go up based on demand.
So to be clear, when you do sign your contract, you put in your deposit, there is an amount of time that you are protected for, where we're all trying to get that home under construction. So if your intention going in is to not build for 2 years, no, you cannot put a deposit down now and freeze the price. But if you are under contract and we are working to get your house started, your price is not going to change. We don't do cost overruns. We don't do any of that as long as everybody's diligently trying to get construction. Is that fair?
That's much better said than I did it, actually. So great job.
Yay! I was useful.
Please.
Okay, so Nate is asking our thoughts on how to orient our homes in terms of north, east, south, and west.
Okay, and while we're discussing this, Andy'd like for you to run the picture through because his wife just walked in. So I can answer this question while you're running through the pictures.
Oh, so he wants to see video. Okay.
Yeah, he wants to see.
Alrighty. So I'll hide me. So
Andy wants to prove to his wife how much he loves her, so much so that he can stop this entire Facebook Live and have her show the pictures because he's.
All right, let's start from the beginning.
To help you out, Andy. I'm a good dude like that. So, Nate, to answer your question about how to orient the house, man, so from like a weather or sun standpoint, it's not that big a deal anymore. With as tight as we're building the houses, and we're going to be either using textural radiant barrier if you're in climate zone 2, which blocks 97% of the sun's radiant heat anyway. If you're climate zone 3, you're going to get spray foam, which is going to seal the house up tight like an igloo cooler. It doesn't matter as much. What I would consider more would be like protection. So if you like to sit outside a lot, I probably wouldn't have my porch facing to the southwest. It's going to be hot most of the time, and maybe blinding sun in your eyes. And alternatively, if you like to watch sunrises, maybe face your house to the east, maybe slightly northeast. But I would certainly orient it based on your view, how it looks best on your property and works best for what you guys are doing. I wouldn't worry about from an energy efficiency standpoint, anything like that. Windows are completely, windows and doors are sealed up anyway. So the whole house is wrapped in Tyvek and taped, dried in. We use Rhino liner on the roof before we put the roofing on. So the house is going to be dry. I probably wouldn't leave a door unexposed to like the northwest side in Texas, because when your cold fronts, the strong fronts that blow through, over time, I guess that could be prone to leak if they're completely unprotected, but that would be a super, super rare occurrence. So, but as far as from an energy efficiency standpoint, I wouldn't worry about that too much. I would worry more about where my views are. I probably wouldn't want to face my covered porch to the west unless I just love taking in sunsets, and some people do. I like taking sunsets in as long as it's 68 degrees outside.
Absolutely.
Not 120.
Okay, Andy, I screened through the photos for you. Let me know if there's anything that we missed, if you wanted to see again. And then Pat is asking if we can rough in for a water softener outside.
Man, Pat, it can be done. So a couple of things, though, to consider, depending on where you're building. It does freeze in most parts of Texas. So having any kind of water piping outside that could be exposed at some point, even if you wrap the fire out of it, it's just having water on the outside that could be prone to freezing, the house freezing, is something I'm a little nervous about personally. The other thing is you have to have power to most of those water softeners, so you're going to have a weatherproof outlet out there, and then somehow be able to get the plug and cord and plugged in for the water softener itself. So we really prefer to put them in a garage or utility room. But I mean, it technically can be done outside. It's just some things to consider before you do that long term, with how we're going to protect it from freezing, and still be able to access everything you need to access, right? So you can't completely wrap the whole thing up like you could a water well, because you got to be able to regularly get to it and put salt tablets in it. So it's kind of something you got to be able to get into and get and work on, not work on, but participate in. Like, you got to put stuff in it. fairly regularly. So, and inevitably it's going to need more salt when it's raining outside or, 19 degrees, and you're not going to want to go out there and do it. So that would be my luck anyway. So something to consider.
That's when those things always happen. Laura is asking if the standard corner pantry has 4 or 5 shelves. Eric, do you know? It looks
so in
like 5.
It's typically 5 shelves. Yeah, typically it's going to be 5 shelves. The bottom shelf, sometimes the bottom 2 shelves are going to maybe stick out a little further. They're maybe going to be like 20 inches deep. And then the top 2 or 3 shelves are going to be 16 inches deep. But we can configure it the way you want to. Some people don't want 5 shelves. They don't want that shelf down low. They want to be able to put a trash can in there and have that down. So we see a lot of people who don't do 5 shelves. They just do the 4. But yeah, it's typically going to be 5 shelves.
John Cade had a question about the rhino lining on the roof decking.
So yeah, John, I know what you and I are talking about. So we're thinking there's rhino lining that goes in the bed of a pickup truck, right? The rhino line truck bed, and then there is Owens Corning has a product called Rhino Liner. It is not the same. The roof is not rhino lined like a pickup. Hey, if it were up to me, all the pickups would be rhino lined inside and out. I think that's what John's talking about, if I had to guess. But no, it is a product that's far superior to felt. We actually have a whole video on it on our craftsmanship series. You can go check it out. It's an amazing product. It can actually sit on the roof for 60 days without shingles on it and be under warranty and have your house dried in. So which felt cannot do, 15 or 30 pounds. So go check it out. Owens Corning Rhino Liner. Not the same as truck bed Rhino Liner.
Toby and Rita are asking where the water comes into the house.
Great question, Toby and Rita. The answer is depends. It's
wherever they put the water.
That's right. So it's going to be up to your specific piece of property. So in some cases, water is coming across the back of the property, maybe. In that case, it'll come in the back somewhere. And a lot of cases, the water is coming from the front, from the road. So it'll be stubbed out in the front somewhere, but it's always going to be stubbed into the slab and then go immediately up into the attic and then to the water heater. So you're not going to really see where it's coming into the house. It's going to be underground to protect it from freezing again. But where water does come into the house, there will be a hose bib, an exterior water faucet. So that's really the only thing to consider. There's one there, and then one anywhere else you want it on the house. And if you're doing a garage, one typically over on the garage. So, but water comes into the house wherever it's most conveniently located. There are a few little restrictions to think about. It can't be within so many feet of where the electrical is stubbed out. It can't be within so many feet of where obviously the septic or sewer system is stubbed out. But we help walk you through all of that at our stakeout appointment. And but yeah, you'll notice that on our plans, it's not located on there yet because we don't know until we come out and do the stakeout like we are for Miss Tidwell on Friday. So she'll know Friday where the water's coming into her house.
Awesome. So let's see. Pat is talking about that she doesn't have a garage and doesn't want it in the utility room. Okay.
No problem. So you can, again, it can be done outside. It's just some things that we really need to think of about how to keep it from freezing. What's the long-term plan on how to frost prevention, and how's the power going to work? Can we get a weatherproof outlet that you can, and does the water softener system that you're interested in, is it rated for exterior use? And we'd want to be real crystal clear about that to make sure that whichever one you're getting is rated for exterior installation. So I haven't seen any done outside, but it doesn't mean that it's not possible.
Okay. Tiffany is asking if we can do tankless water heaters.
Yes, we can. Again, they can be, by the way, they can be exterior or interior. So yeah, they could be either one, mounted in an attic or mounted on the exterior. They are designed for exterior.
Interesting. Beverly is asking if we have put electrical outlets in the pantry, and is that something that's relatively easy to do?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes.
All right. Let's see.
Amber, great spot for a bread maker, by the way.
Yes.
I have a bread maker in my pantry, and that's where the bread. We have an outlet in there, and that's
very smart. This can take up.
It was Rachel's idea.
Very smart, Rachel. I knew that, but yeah, those things take up a lot of space, so it's a good idea. Amber is saying that they're going to add an outside patio later and just need the gas and electric hookups. Can the lines for that be done during the build for later use? Yes, we do that all the time. We have a lot of people who want to put in their outdoor kitchen later. because it's easy to do because it's outside. So yeah, it's a great time to pre-run those hookups for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Let's see. If you have a garage, does the water heater go there, or do we prefer to put them in the attic?
It's up to the customer, really, and up to the plan. I mean, so for me personally, I kind of like the idea of having my water heater closer to the, more centrally located to the plumbing, who's going to be using it, because I like hot water to be there fairly quickly, not really long, but it's really 6 foot only, half dozen the other. If they're gas, there are some restrictions on where it can go because you have to vent it. But if it's electric, it can pretty well go anywhere. And the Tilson home I built the Preston a number of years ago, and my water heaters were in the garage, and they were directly on the other side of the wall from my master shower. So
that's nice.
4.5 inches away. So yeah, I turned hot water on, and you know how long it took to get my kids hot water? I have no idea because they're not my problem.
We're worried about that. They just run it for a while. It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Very good. Great question.
Okay, so I think Pat has decided he's going to put the water softener in a spare bedroom. He's building the Angelina and just about ready for foundation.
Well, Pat, get a hold of your sales consultant or building superintendent as quickly as you can. We want to be sure we get that squared away before we get that foundation poured for sure. But
absolutely. Okay, guys, I think I got everybody's questions. I'll give you a minute. If I missed you, type it again so that we can talk to you. But I think we got everybody.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. We are really, really grateful you spent the time with us. Thank you, Dawn, for taking us through this today. You did a great job. Everybody tell Dawn thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Finally got you out of the moderator headphone out onto the.
I got smaller headphones, so we're good.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Dawn, for setting this up and doing it. Thank you, folks, for joining us. We'll keep doing these as the weeks progress, so join us again. And otherwise, we really hope to make you one day part of the Tilson family real soon. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.